Hello everyone, my name is Deep Shah and I'm a student of FHM Berlin. So today I'm going to present you a presentation for the research which I did, which is on OLA with preparing to be entering in the consumer market for European domain, which is specifically for Berlin, and we would be taking consumer aspects like prices, range and country of origin for the survey. So the consequences for the study would be products that lacks feature for the German values, the unattractive pricings, the low intent, even the negative brand perspective. Also, if the research is not done, the research gap would be as the market is currently focused on electric cars and bigger vehicles. There is no particular research on two-wheeler scooters, so there is a shortage of conjoint analysis for the two-wheeler vehicles. Even for the customers, this project would address like the trade-offs would be prices, the range, the time, charging time. Even the country of origin plays an important role in that. So they would. So I did take some literatures. Okay, so these are the literatures. Like firstly, I focused on the whole scenario, which is the Ola representing Ola trying to launch its product in Berlin for different price ranges and different country of origins. Then we narrowed it down to the studies from 2015 to 2022. So we got a few less case studies and research done. Then using the specific terms like electric vehicle mobility and consumer preferences, there were even less literatures. And while we end go to the specific topic like the two-wheeler scooters in Europe and German, there are just three literature reviews, and these are the citations and the literature review for that. You can even have a look for that. Okay, so this is one. This is my research question, which addresses like the consumer demand specific to German context and Berlin specifically. The core aspect would be identifying consumer preference for prices, range, and country of origin for German customers. So now we would like the study design for this. So basically, I consider like three study designs: the cross-sectional study survey, the longitudinal study, the cross conjoint analysis study. But the more specific which I would be taking for the study, the project I'm doing would be cross-sectional study, because as is a mini project, so we would have lesser time and it's more suitable to collect data which is relevant with the cross-sectional study design. And even it's better with doing it online and in person with the forms and everything. And we would like, let's go to this design, sample design, which has been okay. So the designs would be considered as simple sampling, stratified sampling, and convince sampling, which is quantitative. But here also I would be convention sampling. So as it's due to practicality and efficiency and even the sustainability for the short term, the small scale research is done, and this is more practically possible for a mini project, so that it focuses on the willingness to pay for electric scooters in Berlin, and even the data collection is quite rapid with that. So the attributes which we would like I would like to select would be three attributes: the price of ownership, which varies from 2,000 euros to 3,000 euros and ranging 2,500 euros. The range for the vehicles would be 80 kilometers, 120 and 150 kilometers. The country of origin, the three countries of origin which I have opted for would be India, Europe and Japan. Now we would have a look at the explain design builder. So this says like the attribute one, which is our price range, the attribute two, which is our kilometer range for the vehicle, and the attribute three, which is the country of origin, as we talked about, and the different kind of combinations, like if it's origin in India, and then all the three ranges and all the three different prices. So we have build a survey according to that, which is this one. So this is the survey which I have created and have collected data with the survey. So this is the data that I got from the survey and converted it to binary form, which is more viable and feasible, so that it's it can be analyzed more. Now this is the data which I have been existed. That is, I have removed the center aspect, like for 20,000 euro to 30,000, 3,000, 2,000 euro to 3,000 euros. I have removed the center aspect, which is 2,500 euros, and for the range also, it's similar like that. And these are the ratings that I got for the different surveys that I did. Now, if we go forward to regression, but first of all, let's run a regression with. We go to data analysis. Go for regression. Okay, these are the ranges selected. Yeah, okay, now we select the range for the data regression. Yeah, here we go. And okay, we run the regression. Yeah, so this is the regression amounts and quantities that we got. Okay, so for the regression, the ask value we got is 0.31. So it says 31% variation in our ratings, and the observations are 372, which are quite higher. So it's the data is relevant in the comparison. Even the for the interception we got 3.10, the which is a very proper value. Even for the p value, that is like the 0.00, 0.00, 0.00, and the values which are lesser than 0.05 are more accurate. So this value 0.68, it's not actually that relevant for our research. So the residual plot shows the difference between actual value and the predicted value. In a good model, residual value should be randomly scattered around 0. As we talked about, it's 0 more or less. This indicates that the model fits the data well and no pattern in the error. So this is the regression data. You like, and these are the charts, some of the charts that we got from the regression data. This chart says India's residual plot, the Japan, the 2000 euro plot line chart, and all the charts that we need for the regression analysis. So what we got from our regression analysis is, as we talked about, R square is 0.31, which is 31%. So the total value is 31%, and the variation in consumer choices can be explained by three choices, like price, distance, and the type. In the R square value is a major part in the data analysis and conjoint analysis. It tells us the model captures more meaningful part of the meaningful part of the decisions, and there's factors that we can't measure. Even the SSC is 418.00, which is an unexplained variation in the model. The interception says 3.10. So as we talked about, it should be between the scale of 1 to 5. So that's a baseline, like for the reviews we got a baseline for 3.10. The p values says we got a p values like 0.00, 0.1, 0.00, which are more significant as we talked. The values which are higher than 0.05, which is 0.68, which is not more significant for our research and does not impact our model in that any sense. Okay, so we then move forward with the baseline idea. Yeah, so this is the profile that we removed from our data analysis, that is the center profile, which says 2500 euro. The range would be 120 kilometer, and origin from Europe. So baseline utility profile would be the same as the one we got from the regression analysis, which is 3.10. And then we find out with the analysis that the better profile would be the price which says 2500, the range for 80 kilometers, even, and the origin would be Japan, because its ideal profile utility would be 3.10 plus 1.02, and so it totals to 4.95, so has a higher total value, so it's means the prefer it more than the baseline. This would be a profile which says that it's more preferred by the consumers. Okay, so now we look forward to the charts that we got, that is ideal profiles. We can The ideal profile that we selected was the 25 euro price range with the 80 kilometer range and origin from Japan, as we say, because it's of the chart and the research that we did, we can find out the center profile, that ideal profile for the consumers with the data, and the important attributes would be listed here, like the price, the distance, safety features. So we do even have the chart for it. So as we can see, the Japan, the variation that we selected has a better value for money and better better features for even the customers, so they would be preferring that more. So these are the charts that we prepared from that. I would come to the prediction. So here we go. The For the prediction, we would say if this the attribute for 2000 euro, the range 150 kilometer and origin from Japan, has a utility of 3.32, so it does make it affordable with a good range and have an attractive option, but not the highest utility as we concluded from the survey. And then we move to the next profile, which is 3000 euros, 80 kilometer and origin from Europe. The same, as it does have a higher price in a shorter range. uh, the European origin increases its appeal but gives it less utility score, as we found out in the survey. Then for the price range of 2000 euro, range of 150 kilometer and origin Japan, it has a utility which is slightly higher than the one which has a 300 euro price range, 80 kilometer, because it has a lesser price range, and even the kilometer range is higher than the previous model that we saw. So it's similar to the utility for this utility profile one. Okay, then this is the way which I created for this my presentation. I hope you like my presentation and my mini research. Thank you all for giving your attention.